Hello, everyone. Welcome back to episode 66 of Winning the Division. I am your co-host, Ryan Smith, alongside former NFL tight end Ben Troupe of the Titans, Bucks, and Raiders. Ben, week 4 in the NFL, quarter of way through, is almost down. We're heading into week 5, previews at the end of the show, but we'll start as we always do with our first things first segment, which during the NFL season, if you are a new listener or a subscriber, we go through the players of the week and our not players of the week. And sometimes those are teams, not necessarily players. My player of the week, Ben, I'm going to go my not so first. My not so player / team of the week is going to be the Tennessee Titans. Cam Ward and company shut out 26-0 to the Houston Texans. And then Cam Ward goes into the press conference and says, "We ass." That's what he said. He said a little more than that, but I can't say on this podcast. But he said a little more than that. And Ben, both these teams were over, and so someone had to get off the schneid. But Cam Ward, 10-26, 1 interception. CJ Stroud, 2 touchdowns for the Texans, and a 26-0 victory over the Titans. Just the Titans are not playing winning football right now. 120 points allowed through 4 games, 51 points in total scored. Not a lot going for the Houston Texans there, so they are my not team of the week. My player of the week, and I could have gone a couple of different directions here. I'm going to give to Jackson Dart. I mean, coming over was the Chargers, Justin Herbert playing as well as just about anybody in the league. And Jackson Dart, I know only 13-20 for a touchdown, but he managed the game well. Yep. And this was a stunner that I don't think a lot of people saw coming, myself included. And they were able to pull off the victory at home. And that was losing Malik Neighbors in the first quarter. So, to that torn ACL. So they had a lot to overcome. And Jackson Dart led them. He and Cam Scottaboo combined for some yards rushing on the ground to lead them to victory, despite only 250 total yards to the Chargers 338 total yards. The Giants get the victory 21-18. And my player of the week is Jackson Dart, mainly because it's his first NFL start. He was not favored at all and lost his best receiver in the first quarter, and somehow they found a way to get a huge victory for the Giants. And that, yes, they're 1-3, but that momentum there, I think, can only spring good things forward. But that schedule is obviously unforgiving for the Giants as they move forward. But good to see Jackson Dart deliver for the New York Football Giants. And I'm going to go. I have one other because I'm doing a I got 2. My other guy is Matthew Stafford, 29-41, 3 touchdowns, 375 yards passing as the LA Rams take down the Colts there in LA. Stafford continuing to prove that this back injury as of now was just a fluky thing in the offseason. Defying father time, and the Rams are 3-1, looking like the best team in the NFC West. So Matthew Stafford, Jackson Dart are my players of the week. Titans are my not so team of the week.
Woo, man! I mean, I'm gonna start with players of the week. This is the guy that obviously finally able to come through and show what he's able to do when he's playing tight end. And that's Kyle Pitts, 5 catches, 70 yards, 1 touchdown. I got to give him love because he's not a usual suspect when it comes. Not so players of the week. I mean, I don't even want to know how many times last year he made the not so players of the week. But the usual suspect, the easiest one, Puka Nacua, 13 catches, 170 yards, 1 touchdown. He literally. Him and Amon St. Brown are my top 2 receivers in the league. That's taking nothing away, from Jamar Chase, from Justin Jefferson and those guys. He just gets it done. A guy who used to be a Titan, who used to be an Eagle, and is now a Chicago Bear, Kevin Byard, the third, safety for the Bears. 2 picks on Sunday leading that Bears defense. And my team, my unit of the week, Bears field goal block. I mean,
yes.
I don't know what's going on this year with these field goal blocks to end games or field goal blocks for touchdowns. But if you were Ben Johnson, who I know Ben Johnson had some controversy with his, I think it was the reporter that was talking to him. I don't know if it was after halftime, and he's apologized for it. But no, the Bears field goal block team. I mean, you got to show love when it's there. And another guy. Jags, Parker Washington, punt return for a touchdown against San Francisco. I mean, it was a big-time play and a big-time moment in the game. Now I got to get to the not-so players. Okay, you've already said the Titans. My not-so players. Brock Purdy. He come back off injury. 22 of 38, 309 yards, 2 touchdowns. He also had 2 picks. And I want to say both picks was to Devin Lloyd, trying to throw the ball to Christian McCaffrey. One of them, and Christian McCaffrey put the ball on the ground like twice too, but I'm going to go to Brock Purdy. And I hate to do it to you, Smitty. Carolina special teams, punt return in general.
You won't see any complaining from me based on how they played on.
I mean, it's something we talked about this morning. Why were they running by him? Like, I know he would now if he puts his feet on the 10-yard line and it goes through for a touchback, you know, you're trying to keep him going in the end zone. He had a wall of people on that left sideline, and I'm like, you never ever leave it for the kicker to have to make the tackle. That's not fair to him, but it does happen. But it's something that you said. This is about the Titans. Let me tell y'all something. If the Browns go 1-16, it's the Browns. They got Myles Garrett. They got Denzel Ward, I think. They got Grant Delpit at safety. They got Jerry Jeudy at receiver. They got David Njoku, and it does not matter.
No.
The fact that Joe Flacco is still the starter lets you know either Dylan Gabriel isn't ready or they just don't want to play Shador. I don't know what's going on. But, yes, they did when they did beat who did Cleveland beat 2 weeks ago? They beat somebody. You know, it was crazy. Oh, they beat the Packers. But it's about the Titans. I really don't know what the direction of the Titans is right now. Brian Callahan, you know, he relinquished his play calling duties, and they got worse. You know, you want to know why? Because Calvin Ridley, the number 1 receiver who wears number 0. I'm doing my best not to say too much crazy things about because I'm always in favor of the players. But if your number 1 receiver ain't getting open for you, and when he does get open for you, he puts the ball on the dirt. That's no continuity. That's no stability. That's no structure. That leads to L's. Right now, we know that the New Orleans Saints are probably the worst team in the league. The Titans ain't far off. If the New Orleans Saints are the worst team in the NFC, the Titans are definitely the worst team in the AFC. And I know the Browns are in the AFC. The Browns have won the game. So I don't know what's going to happen with the Titans, but if Cam Ward rolls to the right and throws to the left one more time, I'm going to lose it. And he does it, and the announcer be like, yeah, that's a great throw. No, that's an ill-advised throw. That's the only throw he has. But, great football this weekend. Just field goal block team. Watch out for them field goal block teams. And not only will they block it to win the game, they'll scoop and score. You got 300-pounders running almost 20 miles an hour. That's a lot of beef coming at you really, really fast.
Yeah. Well, that was our first things first segment here on Winning the Division, episode number 66. Let's get into these games here. 2 Monday Night Football games going on right now. I'll just get your quick thoughts on those since they're in progress, and then we'll go through the games that are already done. So currently in the third quarter, the Jets and Dolphins, 17-10 Miami. Jets just scored a touchdown on a 43-yard run by Justin Fields. So 17-10 Miami mid-third quarter. And then the Denver Broncos beating the Cincinnati Bengals 7-3, 12:49 left till halftime when we are recording this. So those are the current Monday Night Football games currently going on. Do you have any thoughts on those games in general since they're still going on?
I was playing for Tyreek Hill. I'm like you. I'm not going to look at the injury. I'm just going to. And like I said, Smitty, somebody goes out every week. Torn ACLs, MCLs, PCLs, hamstrings, Achilles. Something happens every week when big time like Tyreek Hill is going to be breaking news. Shout out to Darren Waller. Been away from football for a year, comes back, first action, 2 touchdowns. So for everybody that got Darren Waller on your fantasy team, he's paying dividend because you can't beat. I mean, with 2 catches, 27 yards, 2 touchdowns. And I think you and me got Jamar Chase as our fantasy wide receiver. Well, we picked the wrong week because former defensive player of the year, Patrick Surtain the second. He don't give up hardly anything, but that game is still going. But I'm praying for Tyreek Hill, man, hoping all the best for him. And I mean, you never want to hit the gruesome. I mean, when they say things like "don't watch it," yeah, that's gruesome. But I am praying for him. Yeah. And shout out to Justin Fields, still showing he can make plays with his feet.
Yep. And then obviously Bengals and Broncos. Jake Browning's going to have to prove that he can carry the load after getting blown out in their first game without Burrow, 48-10 against the Vikings last week. So Bengals are going to have to come back and hope that they can look. I mean, they still got Jamar Chase, still got Sidney Brown, and yeah.
I mean, but here's the thing, right? We look at what Browning and Company, we look at what they was able to do against Jacksonville, and then we were saying, oh, they're gonna carry that momentum. Minnesota, like, oh no. I mean, pump your brakes times 20. It's gonna be a long year for us, Cincinnati, as we know, Smitty. I mean, because Joe Burrow, he is Lamar Jackson. For their team, he is Justin Herbert for their team. He is Josh Allen for their team. When he goes out, it just takes the life out of the entire team because guys know they're going to have to play well. But if Joe Cool ain't in there, I mean, you can go up and put up points. But you haven't heard a lot from Trey Hendrickson and company, right? Yeah, because that defense, I mean, they play inspired football, not winning football. But yeah, that was a beatdown. And so, I mean, and listen, it's the year of the backup quarterback. If you are a backup quarterback in 2025, you definitely making your money, and it just, I'm going to keep on saying this about Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow's talent is going to get wasted in Cincinnati, not because he's not a good player, but he's already had, I think, 2-time comeback player of the year. I think he's going to be having to do it again in 2026. If they do not address the O-line, I don't care who you have at the skill position. They do not block for you in pass protection. So until they want to get serious, Cincinnati going to have to deal with every time. Cincinnati going to have to deal with every time Joe Flacco drops back. That might be his last play of the season because if he's getting off the ground more than he's throwing his fist in the air for a big time throw, it's going to be a hard time to justify why you're not trying to protect the franchise.
Well, let's get going into now the games that are currently over or are over rather for this week, and we will. Sorry, my notes are slow to load here. Okay, here we go. We'll start in overseas, where in Dublin, Ireland, the Pittsburgh Steelers take down the Minnesota Vikings by a score of 24-21. And Aaron Rodgers and company with this win, he averaged time to throw was 2.7 seconds across 22 passes against the Vikings, his quickest average time to throw in a game since 2016. And TJ Watt also becoming one of 7 players with at least 100 sacks and 8 interceptions in his career all time. Those other 6 are Hall of Famers. Richard Dent, Lawrence Taylor, Jason Taylor, Julius Peppers, Ricky Jackson, and Chris Dolman.
I mean, unique company. That Watt family bloodline is serious, right? JJ, TJ. I think they had a brother that played tight end or something like that, if I'm not mistaken, out of Wisconsin. But DK Metcalf earned his money. I mean, 5 catches, 126 yards, 1 touchdown, 25.2 yards a carry. Aaron Rodgers, pedestrian, but got it done 18 to 22, 200 yards and 1 touchdown. But Gainwell, 19 rushes, 99 yards, 5.2 yards a rush, 2 TDs. And, over to the Vikings. I mean, Carson Wentz, this is what I mean. It's not winning football. Not that he played bad. 30 or 46. He threw the ball 46 times. It's going to be hard to win like that. Yeah. He had 350 yards, 2 touchdowns, but he also had 2 picks. Justin Jefferson, 10 for 126. Jordan Addison, it is great to have him back, 4 for 114. This was a back and forth affair, and the product in overseas is growing in the National Football League. The fact that you got games to start off the season, throughout the course of the season. I mean, Aaron Rodgers, Carson Wentz, the Steelers, and the Vikings. This is a really, really good game. And first month of the season, first quarter of the season, I mean, these Pittsburgh Steelers are 3-1. I know that Minnesota is going to be a tough out. It's going to be a fight to the finish with that division, even though I think the Lions, people that kind of like show that the Lions might be the best team in that division still, with Chicago playing better and Green Bay tie-in with Dallas, which I know we get to that game. But incredible game overseas. Vikings 2-2, Steelers 3-1. And dare I say, Aaron Rodgers, 41, 42 years old, doing his best work. It doesn't matter how it looks, Smith, if you get the win. So he's not going to be dominant in the box score, but he's got the number that matters. And that's 1-0, even if it's overseas. Shout out to them Steelers.
Let's go ahead and get the. I apologize. My notes are being very slow here. All right, here we go. Your Atlanta Falcons, 34. Washington, 27. They rebound from the debacle in Carolina, 34-27 over the Washington Commanders. Michael Penix and B.J. Robinson both posting career-high yardage totals Sunday. Penix setting a new high with 313 passing yards. Robinson's 181 scrimmage yards, best of his NFL journey.
Listen, you're going up against your former quarterback, Marcus Mariota, 16-27, 156 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick. No Scary Terry, no Jaden Daniels. But this Commanders team still played really, really well. Debo was doing everything. I mean, he had 3 rushes for 9 yards, 6 catches, 72 yards, and a touchdown, 12 yards. Okay, Zach Ertz, 2 for 21. Luke McCaffrey, another McCaffrey, 2 catches, 21 yards. I think back-to-back weeks with touchdowns. But this, as you mentioned, is about the Falcons. They fired Ike Hilliard, wide receivers coach during the week, and you was like, how do they rebound? As you mentioned, Michael Penix, 20-26, very efficient. 313 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pick. The pick was egregious. I mean, you just had to see it was egregious. Bijan Robinson, 17 rushes, 75 yards, 1 touchdown. Drake London, 8 catches, 110 yards, 1 touchdown. Bijan Robinson, 4 catches, 106 yards, averaging 26.5 yards a catch. Kyle Pitts, 5 catches, 70 yards, 1 touchdown. I'm not saying that's how it's going to look every single week, right? But you need your big 3 to perform. What am I saying? You need your big 2. No one's ever talking about Bijan Robinson, one of the best players in the league, let alone one of the best running backs in the league. I mean, 4 catches, 100. He's doing his best Christian McCaffrey impression. 4 catches, 106 yards. You're talking about another over 70 yards on the ground. But they was able to get that ugly win with an ugly loss. Like you mentioned for your Carolina Panthers a week ago. But like I said, the Washington Commanders, they made it very, very competitive, 34-27. Falcons go to 2-2. Commanders go to 2-2. On to the next.
On to the next in Buffalo. Shout out to the New Orleans Saints. They were keeping this one close, had the lead in the fourth quarter, and then Josh Allen to borrow from here in Carolina back in the day, put on his Cam Newton cape and took the Bills the rest of the way in the fourth quarter to stifle the pesky New Orleans Saints. 31-19 was your final. And Bills, one of now 2 undefeated teams left in the NFL with the Philadelphia Eagles. We'll get to them later. Bills start the season 4-0, first time since 2020 when they advanced to the AFC Championship game. Saints 0-4 for the first time since 2012 where they went 7-9. And as Sean Payton served out a full season suspension. That was back in 2012. Bountygate.
Spencer Rattler, 18-27, 126 yards, 1 touchdown. Chris Olave, 0 for 1 with a pick. Which that's when you know we get that. I mean, Alvin Kamara doing his best, 15 rushes, 70 yards, 4.7 yards a catch. I mean, and you're talking about Shaheed, 4 for 47. Brandon Cooks, I mean, 3 for 22. I mean, they did, as you mentioned, they had the lead, but then here come the Bills. I mean, Josh Allen, 16-22, 209 yards, 2 touchdowns and a pick. James Cook, 22 rushes, 117 yards and 1 touchdown. Josh Allen, 7 for 45 and a touchdown. I mean, they didn't do a lot on offense. I mean, Shakir had 5 for 69 and 1 touchdown. Keon Coleman had 3 for 45 and a touchdown. Dalton Kincaid had 1 for 28 and a touchdown. But it's like you mentioned. Somebody looked up and said, we're losing to the Saints, right? What? We are losing to the Saints. Got it. We're going to go ahead and take because
no more.
Are the Saints going to go on 16? The answer is no, but they will not get their first win against a team that came in undefeated. Shout out to the Bills.
Let's go to Detroit, where they take down the Cleveland Browns 34-10. It seems like that loss to Green Bay is a distant memory now. Aiden Hutchinson, 32.5 career sacks, most of any Lions player throughout their first 4 seasons.
This is all about. We knew how this game was going to end up, right? No one's going to be surprised. I mean, Jared Goff, 16-27, 168 yards, 2 touchdowns and a pick. Gibbs had 91 rushes, 91 yards and a touchdown. Montgomery only had 9 for 12. 1.3 yards. You talk about what he was able to do against the Ravens. They shut him down against Cleveland. Amon St. Brown still getting it done. 7 for 72 touchdowns. James Williams 2 for 40. But this is about the Browns. Joe Flacco was 16 for 34, 184 yards, and 2 picks. Dylan Gabriel come in for 0 for 1. Judkins had 21 for 82 and a touchdown. Fanning Jr., the tight end, had 1 rush for 1 yard. I don't even know what that was about. But then you talk about Bond had 3 for 58. I don't know what's going on with the Browns for this reason, Smitty. You look at Coach Daboll, he got away from it. We're going to get to it. Coach Daboll said, look, we're going to go with Jackson Dart. Why are they not going with Dylan Gabriel or Shedeur Sanders? Like, Joe Flacco is giving you all he got, literally. But that's not going to lead to wins. And I don't get it. Joe Flacco, he's done what he said he did not want to be a mentor so many years ago. Well, you're a mentor now, even though you're still getting starting, you're still getting checks in the National Football League and you're 40 years old, but you look like you're 40 years old. That's how you look. So they're gonna have to Coach Stefanski gonna have to make a decision to go to Gabriel because he knows once he go to Gabriel, that's gonna make him number 1 and Shedeur number 2. Joe Flacco's not gonna go from number 1 to number 2. This ain't Anthony Richardson. This ain't 2024, him and Anthony Richardson. But the question I want to ask you is, why are they still playing Joe Flacco? Like, what is going on? Is something going on with the Browns that they're not telling us? I'm not understanding this logic.
I think it's as simple as with guys like Myles Garrett on the defensive side of the ball and offensive side of the ball, veteran players over there. I think they want I don't say they're mathematically out of it, but they want to give their players that are veterans the best chance to win a football game week in and week out. They have that responsibility to those, this playing in the league, having those veteran guys there and wanting their best chance to win a game every week. And you can't look those guys in the eye and say, hey, we're going to go with the rook. Even though we're only 1-3, we still have a lot of season left, but we're just going to go with this rook and see what happens. I don't think that's going to go very well in the locker room. Until they're mathematically eliminated, I think they're going to continue to play Joe Flacco. Let's go to your former team, the Tennessee Titans, rather. Used to be in Houston, though, and then they moved to Nashville. That was the Oilers. Houston Texans, 26. Tennessee Titans, 0. They were already my not team of the week, struggling big time. We all know what Cam Ward said in his post-game presser. I know you have some thoughts on that. Texans are the first team since 1974 Cowboys to have a losing record through 4 games of a season, despite allowing 13 points a game.
Yeah, the law officer Will Anderson and Danielle Hunter, those guys are one of the best pass rushing tandems in the league. But C.J. Stroud, 22 of 28, 233 yards, 2 touchdowns. Marks had 17 rushes, 69 yards and a touchdown. Nick Chubb had 13 for 47. Collins had 4 for 79. Marks had 4 for 50. It was once again, you knew that they was going to get get back into the winning category of playing these Titans because here's Cam Ward, 10 for 26. He threw the ball 26 times. He had 10 completions for 108 yards and a pick. Tony Pollard was 14 for 64. Cam Ward was 2 for 22. Chestnut was 1 for 0, and Shamir DK was 1 for -4. Io Manor had 2 for 44. Calvin Ridley had 2 for 30. Calvin Ridley, your number 1 receiver, your big money receiver, had 2 catches for 30 yards. You're not going to win like that. You're just not. Every time we when we talk about the Rams, we talk about Puka Nacua. When we talk about Detroit, we talk about Amon St. Brown. Right? You seeing a trend? When we talk about Atlanta, we saw Drake London. We saw Kyle Pitts finally. We saw, Bijan Robinson. And we get to the Titans, and your number 1 receiver is 2 for 30 in 4 quarters. Oh, when people saying, well, he didn't get that many throws. No, yes, he is getting throws. He's not coming up with the catches. So I don't know what's going to happen with these Titans because, like I said, Smitty, it's going to be a long year for them because there still isn't forget offensive identity. There's no identity. Jeffrey Simmons is giving you all he got. Jeffrey Simmons for the Titans is like Derrick Brown for the Panthers. These dudes are amazing football players, but they got to have help. So I don't know what's going to happen with the Titans, but people always talk about like hot seats. Brian Callahan, he might just be good for one side of the ball. He might not be good to orchestrate an entire team. We will see. But this is year 2 of this monstrosity going on in Nashville.
All right. Talk me off my ledge. Let's get to my Panthers here. They got shellacked in New England 42 to 13. Panthers were winning 6-0 at one point, and then got outscored 35 straight points before scoring again. No, to make it worse, it was 42-0 outscored. So I'm sorry on myself there. But Drake May had a 75+ yard completion percentage and threw 2 touchdown passes in each of his last 3 games. Only Tom Brady, back in his MVP season of 2007, has such longer streak in a single season in NFL history. And then Stephon Diggs, 6 catches for 101 yards. His first game with 100 yards in nearly 2 years back in Buffalo in 2023. It was the last time he did that.
I just want to show you this comparison real quick. Okay, you mentioned Drake May. He was 14 to 17. He threw the ball 17 times, 203 yards, 2 touchdowns. Dobbs came in 0 for 1. Stevenson 9 rushes, 38 yards. Henderson 7 for 32 in the touchdown. Gibson 6 for 27 in the touchdown. Drake May 3 for 11. So that's 21. That's 21 points right there. Or really, that's 18 points just rushing the football. When you have a complimentary running game that's scoring points, we don't have to throw the ball all around the yard. You mentioned Stephon Diggs, 6 catches, 101 yards. Hunter Henry was next with 2 for 39 in the touchdown. Austin Hooper was 1 for 24. All right, let's go to the Panthers. Chuba Hubbard had 10 for 49, 4.9 yards a catch. Etienne had 7 for 33. Dowdle had 9 for 32, 1 for 12. The problem is no touchdowns. Now Bryce Young threw the ball 30 times. 18 to 30, 150 yards in a touchdown. Obviously, the game got out of hand. Andy Dalton 5 for 6, 50 yards in a touchdown. Here it is. Ted McMillan 4 for 62, no touchdowns. Trimble 5 for 42 in a touchdown. Right? Evans had 3 for 23. When it comes to Bryce Young needs three things. One, he needs balance. Number two, he needs structure. Structure only comes from balance. When I'm balanced, all right, I can see what I'm doing. All right, the structure is good. And number three, creativity. Like Coach Canales, if you're listening, which I hope you are, we on your side, right? But I asked Smitty earlier, to compare some of these teams to ice creams. Not that they soft, I'm just saying flavors. Nobody's soft. I am never questioning anybody's manhood or their style of play. I'm just talking about creativity. This offense gets very vanilla really fast. And I don't understand that. I really don't understand how the first 15, you go straight down the field. I want to say the first 2 drives are both against Atlanta and New York, you go straight down the field and you score. Well, don't get vanilla after that, because when you do, number one, if the running game is not, scoring points, you need to be creative. I like Ted McMillan. I don't know who your number 2 is right now. I know you. What's the young man you say is hurt right now?
Xavier Legette is obviously dealing with this hamstring.
The other guy,
Jalen Coker.
Because the thing about Ted McMillan is he's gonna get his catches, but he can't beat you over the top. So who's gonna? But there is a one Jimmy Horn that's supposed to be getting added to the lineup, and I hope they really put it. Because here's the thing, Smitty, and I'm gonna say this: I don't like having that much speed on the sideline. Put him in the game.
Exactly. Yes.
Like, what is it gonna hurt? What is it gonna hurt to put him in the game? That cornerback gonna back up. He gonna see the friend. He can smell. Listen, he can smell the horsepower coming off of Jimmy Horn Jr. when he come out the freaking huddle. Throw the ball deep. Because once again, Bryce Young has a lot of Russell Wilson in him to where I'm not gonna say anything to ruffle any feathers. I'm not gonna show any frustration. It's okay, Bryce. It's okay to show it. It's how you show it, not that you show it. It's what you say more than who you're saying about. So be very, very. He's a pro. 3rd year in the league, played at Alabama, number 1 overall pick, Heisman Trophy winner. He knows how to do this. I was the number 1 player in high school. I was a Heisman Trophy winner in college, and I was number 1 overall pick. I'm used to being in the spotlight. You know what I'm not used to being? Held back with these play calls. So Coach Canales, if you're listening, stop calling Brian Callahan up there with the top. Don't talk to him. Nope. Do not talk to him, because he's calling worse plays than you are, if you can believe it. No, call Sean McVay. Call Kyle Shanahan. Call Andy Reid. Call head coaches who actually trying to get their players in space and to get the ball to them. Because once again, Bryce Young will look like he can't play football, but it's the play calling. It is not him. So, Panthers fans, listen, for those of you who want to be frustrated, I'm a Titan fan. I had to deal with Will Levis. That's it. Full stop. I don't got to say nothing else. I had to deal with Will Levis. And the only reason why he didn't start this year is because he got hurt. They probably would have been a starter. I don't know why he would have been a starter, but he would have been. But I think you guys are going to get some bounce back. I mean, we knew it was going to be a good game with Tyreek Hill. No Tyreek Hill.
Dolphins, Panthers, they got a lot of speed though.
They do. But they're gonna put J.C. Horn on Jalen Waddle. I don't know who's gonna cover Darren Waller. That'll
be a problem. Panthers can't cover the tight end, but we'll see what happens there. All right, moving on. Let's go to those New York Giants 21-18 victory over the Los Angeles Chargers as Jackson Dart gets his first win and on his first start joins Daniel Jones now in Indy. We'll talk about him in a second. Only Giants rookies since 1950 with a passing touchdown and a rushing touchdown in a first career start. Dart and Jones are also the only New York Giant rookies to win their first career start in the last 40 years. Dart is the first quarterback with a passing touchdown, a rushing touchdown, and wait for it, 50 rushing yards in his first career start since Tim Tebow.
Tim Tebow, huh? All right, let's start with the Chargers. You know, everybody want to talk about what the Chargers have done, which they have. You know, beating Kansas City first game of the year in Brazil, coming in 3-0. Justin Herbert, 23 of 41, 203 yards, 1 touchdown. He had 2 picks, though. Amarion Hampton, 12 for 128. Yeah, you heard that right. 12 rushes, 128 yards, 1 touchdown. Justin Herbert had 1 for 24. You know, Johnson had 8 for 98, 1 touchdown. Amarion Hampton had 5 for 37. Keenan Allen had 5 for 37. Let's go to Jackson Dart. What Jackson Dart provides is juice. I need juice from my quarterback. I need some energy, some life. I don't want to hear no let's go. Now I don't want to hear no come on Giants faithful, let's ride. Or maybe he did that when he was in Denver. But Jackson Dart, as you mentioned, 13 to 20, 111 yards, 1 touchdown. Here's the main thing: no picks. Took care of the football. Russell Wilson 1 for 1 for 8 yards. You mentioned Jackson Dart 10 for 54 and a touchdown. Slayton 3 for 44. Malik Neighbors 2 for 20. Now you lose Malik Neighbors for the rest of the year with a torn ACL. That hurts. But I think Jackson Dart provides young energy, enthusiasm, and athleticism. He provides all three. He's gonna give you some energy, gonna give you some enthusiasm. He's gonna provide some athleticism, and he gonna provide some juice. If you are the Chargers, this is why people go, I don't know if I still believe in the Chargers yet. Because the Chargers will look like world beaters, and then they'll lose to the Giants. Like, what? A rookie? Derwin James and company and those guys? Nope. He was out there. He wasn't out there running around the yard, but I mean, a win is a win. So, and I will say this, not to throw salt in the wound. Brian Burns is the celebration when he's doing he's Spider-Man or whatever. He's going like this, and then he do the little thing. That's. I mean, it's nice. I mean, I don't know if he's always done that, but it's pretty.
He has always done that back in Carolina. Currently, the NFL sack leader with 5 sacks currently through week 4.
Hey, look, and I will say this to let you know that some players play. There are certain players that are more than just teammates; they become like brothers and family. Kayvon Thibodeau, defensive end on the other side, didn't know that Malik Neighbors was out, so he's sitting there talking. And he said, you guys got an update on Malik. I said, yeah, he tore his ACL. He's like, what the? The life in him just went, God, because he realizes. So Malik Neighbors, Tyreek Hill, Nick Bosa, these ACLs, I'm telling you, it's only a matter of time when you start talking about how much wear and tear these guys deal with. But praying for all 3 of those guys, praying for everybody. That's dealing with them lower leg injuries that's out for the year. Get healthy, but congratulations to Jackson Dart, Brian DeBoer, getting the first win of the season. His first win. Let's see if he can keep that momentum going. Because guess what? The Eagles are coming, the Commanders are coming, and we ain't got to them yet. But is Dak Prescott gonna be playing like that? It's gonna be hard to beat them boys.
Yeah, my Panthers face the Cowboys at home after Miami. So Dallas coming to town in 2 weeks in Carolina.
J.C. Horn versus George Pickens.
Yes, CeeDee Lamb may not be back yet. Speaking of those Eagles, they take down the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 31-25 in a battle of undefeated teams. So, as I said, the Bills and the Eagles now the only two undefeated teams left in the National Football League. Okay, Jalen Hurts, 0 passing yards in the second half. I know you're a big Jalen Hurts guy, so I'm going to let you talk about it. Becoming the first quarterback to win a game with 8 or more passing attempts and 0 passing yards in the second half since Panthers quarterback Jake Delhomme, week 10 in 2008 at Oakland, where he was 0 for 9 for 0 yards. They're the only two quarterbacks in league history to have such games since 1991.
15-24, 130 yards, 2 touchdowns. He had 9 rushes for 62 yards. Saquon Barkley really hasn't gotten out this year. I mean, 19 rushes, 43 yards, and a touchdown. Dallas go there. He had 4 for 37, 2 touchdowns. Saquon had 4 for 31. And then, but let me tell Eagles fans something. A.J. Brown is the best receiver you've ever seen that's not a diva. Oh, people saying, well, Ben, what did A.J. Brown do? I'm happy that you asked. 2 catches for 7 yards. He had 1 catch the first game of the year. Now, I know he went off 2 weeks ago. Most players in his position would be losing their mind. CeeDee Lamb done it. Justin Jefferson done it. All these big-time receivers done it. Tyreek Hill done it. Let me tell you what A.J. Brown is learned. I want to make plays, not waves. I just want to make plays. I've been reading on the sideline. I've had, this old school Acura that people think this is my real car. It's not. That's not the car he drove. That's what he drove to the game. He has a room full of mannequins that have all his old jerseys on it, from Ole Miss to the Titans, the Pro Bowls, Super Bowls with the Eagles. No passing yards in the second half and you win a game. That means that Nick Sirianni and the Philadelphia Eagles have learned to live with Jalen Hurts. Say, look, the guy just wants to win. And sometimes it's hard to believe that. Let's go to Baker Mayfield, who, lying about coaches cutting him, which I don't know why he did that. 22 or 40, 289 yards, 2 touchdowns and a pick. Irving had 15 for 62. White had 6 for 17. Irvin also led them in receiving 5 for 102 and a touchdown. And Ibuka 4 for 1. That rookie 4 for 101 and a touchdown. The Eagles have found ways to win, and it doesn't have to be pretty. I don't think none of their wins have looked the same all four weeks of the season. You realize that they can bleed though. Like when everybody was talking about Drew Brees saying it's hard to watch the Eagles offense because it's boring, and everybody was jumping all over Drew Brees was saying it. What you got to say now? That offense is hard to watch sometimes. You be like, dude, are they even trying? It's almost like they preserving themselves for a deep postseason run. But guess what? 4 games, 4 wins. So sometimes it's not about how it looks. It's how you get it done. So we might not like how they make the cake, but the cake is getting baked and it's edible. It just might not have the pretty little flowers on. So shout out to the Eagles who finally getting over the hump, because the Bucks had been their kryptonite for a minute. So they finally getting over the hump, beating those old Bucks. But yeah, Baker Mayfield will come. They're gonna still be there in the end. And Baker Mayfield, look, stop looking for reasons to talk trash for no reason. Like if it didn't happen to you, come on, man. Let's stop looking for these swan songs, violin type stories, man. Especially when we can fact check it. Yeah, you can't just say stuff like we don't know. Because there's a coach pushback said, yeah, if I had the ability to get rid of players, you think I would have got rid of our best players? C-Mac? Come on, man. Stop it. Play football.
The Los Angeles Rams are victorious over the Indianapolis Colts, knocking Colts from the undefeated ranks 27-20. Matthew Stafford, one of my co-players of the week. Rams' 96-yard touchdown drive before the half was their longest in a game since their 97-yard drive in a loss back in 2022 against the Saints. But it was Tutu Atwell getting the last-minute touchdown there for the Rams to close out that victory.
Daniel Jones, 24-33, 262 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 picks. Shout out to the homie Tyler Warren. 2 rushes, 3 yards, and a touchdown, 1.5 yards a carry. Tyler Warren also had 5 for 70. Mitchell had 3 for 96. But this is about Puka. Matthew Stafford, 29-41, 375 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks. Williams, 13-77. Excuse me. Corum had 9 for 21. Puka Nacua had 13 catches, 170 yards, 13.1 yards a catch, 1 touchdown. Tutu Atwell had 1 for 88. He had to walk off. Devontae Adams had 4 for 56 and a touchdown. What Matthew Stafford is doing is showing why when you are familiar in a system, you trust your playmakers, and you take the plays when they're there, you always gonna have a shot. So shout out to the Rams. Look, the Colts are still really, really good. They just went up against a more efficient quarterback. Daniel Jones started getting, happy with the football and wasn't taken care of, but it was still a really, really good game. But Puka Nacua has established himself as one of the best, if not the best receiver in football. The way he run routes and the fact that Matthew Stafford could put it on a dime, he be dropping dimes to Puka. Puka's not the biggest, the fastest, or the strongest. He just gets open, and he's dependable. So Puka is like a younger Amon St. Brown. Just they let him play on the outside. He makes the bulk of his money in the slot now, but sometimes they'll put him on the outside. They get favorable coverage. He be killing people with that little double move he got, man. It be working, but. Shout out to the Rams, man, sticking to their winning ways, and the NFC West is probably going to come down to the wire because the Seahawks are playing well. 49ers, I mean, they probably need to go with Mac Jones because I think that Brock Purdy just re-injured that toe that he had. And the Cardinals, they make it exciting in the end.
Speaking of those 49ers, they lose to the Jacksonville Jaguars, who are now 3-1. San Francisco also no longer undefeated, as those Jaguars might be for real. 26-21 on the road, long flight back to Jacksonville, where the Jaguars obviously were very happy yesterday. One of 3 teams in the last 30 years with 3+ takeaways and fewer than 400 total yards allowed in each of their first 4 games of a season. Those others, the 1996 Packers won the Super Bowl, and the 2002 Eagles, who lost in the NFC Championship game. And that would be to my Carolina Panthers, by the way, for those who may not remember. That was before we lost to the Patriots in the Super Bowl. But,
I mean, Brock Purdy, 22 of 38, 309 yards, 2 touchdowns. He also had 2 picks, both to Devin Lloyd, the linebacker. Christian McCaffrey was 17, rushing 49 yards, but he also had 6 catches, 92 yards, and a touchdown. Christian McCaffrey put the ball on the ground twice. You cannot win putting the ball on the ground. Ricky Pearsall, 4 for 46. Tongues had 3 for 58.
And Pearsall, I think, got injured as well. I think he got an injury. So, they're okay. Talk to me about this trainers in the NFL. 49ers last year snake bit with injuries. This year, for sure, snake bit with injuries. Already lost Bosa for the year. Obviously, Kittle, Purdy have been out. I didn't play in the NFL. I'm sure our listeners who have these same questions. Yes, you can fire a training staff. We all know that. But, what separates a good training staff from a bad training staff, if that's a word I can use?
Trust from the head coach. You got a head coach that trusts the trainers to listen to them to be able to say, look, we think he needs another week. We think he needs 2 weeks. We don't think he's ready to go out there. The trainer's job is to get you on the field. That is their job. Their job is to not keep you off the field. Their job is to be the intermediate between you and the head coach because they're the one in the staff meeting. So when they're going around talking about injury, they're saying, well, how bad is it? It's real bad, coach. Well, how bad? It's real bad. Now, most players in the National Football League are dealing with some type of ailment, some type of nick. If you ever watch the movie The Program, when Omar Epps, he fumbled the football and he's laying on the ground and his head coach say, are you injured or you hurt? He said, well, what's the difference? He said, well, if you hurt, you can play. If you're injured, you can't. He said, well, I think I'm just hurt. Most of these players, they are injured. They are not hurt. Injured means that's why they call it the injury report. These guys are playing through injuries, but they're making a bad situation worse because aches and pains need time. And a lot of times, it be more than what be on the injury report. So I don't think it's any bad trainers. I think that you got trainers that don't have as much leeway, don't have as much pull or rope as some of these other trainers do. Some of these other training staffs do. The trainers that's going to get more leeway is probably ones that got veteran head coaches that they've earned that. Younger head coaches, they need them players to be out there. And they're not trying to force it, but Purdy probably came back too early. Now he's back on the injury list with his toe. But football is a collision sport. It is a violent sport. Guys are going to get hit, and sometimes they're not going to get up. Sometimes you're going to have Tyreek Hill, gruesome injuries that's going to be hard to watch. But, Smitty, the two most important people to any staff is your equipment people and your trainers. That's the most important people on the staff because one, make sure you got fitted for what you need to be fitted for, and the other, make sure you on the field. And nobody out there, you ain't been 100% since they said it's a boy. So since you came out your mother's womb, you've been scratching and clawing since. Football just makes injuries a lot worse because you have to deal with them. So them tore all shots before the game, hey, that line is long because that's how – forget what – if you can see what certain guys have to do between Monday and Saturday just to make it to the game, from massages to acupuncture to the hot tub, the cold tub, it's a lot just to make it to Sunday and to start all over again. So I wouldn't blame it on these trainers. It's just your body doesn't get looser as it gets older; it gets tighter, and them bones they already being pushed to the limit. And sometimes they, once you try to go past your limit, they give out on you. Unfortunately.
The game that was probably the forgotten game, in my opinion, for the week 4 in the 4 o'clock window, that would be the Las Vegas Raiders and the Chicago Bears. The Chicago Bears get a 1-point victory, 25-24, blocking a last-second field goal by the Las Vegas Raiders to survive there in Vegas. Bears getting that happy flight home in back to Chicago as where there we go. Kevin Byard, as you mentioned earlier, intercepting Geno Smith twice in this game. Over 1,490 games in the Bears' 106-year history. 3 rookies have ever scored 3 touchdowns in a regular season game against them. That would be Ashton Jeanty, Randy Moss, and Adrian Peterson.
Watching this game, you knew it was, it was a back and forth affair. No one team can kind of like really assert themselves. Geno Smith, 14-21, 117 yards, 2 touchdowns, 3 picks. Hard to win like that. Ashton Jeanty, as you mentioned, 21 rushes, 138 yards, and got over the century mark, plus 38 more. Brock Bowers held in check, 5 catches, 46 yards. Myers, 4, and he's your leading catcher. Myers, 4 for 30. Ashton Jeanty, 2 for 17 and 2 touchdowns. You wasted this man in an incredible game. But Caleb Williams, 22 of 37, 212 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. That's not efficient, but it's not the worst thing you ever seen. DeAndre Swift, 14 30 and a touchdown. Rome Aduze, 4 for 69, 17.2 yards a catch, 1 touchdown. Cole Kmet, 3 for 46. Special teams. The Raiders lining up for the game winner. The Bears nope. Block. All you heard was block. Ben Johnson is a very, very peculiar case to me because we don't know what he is yet. He's very, very fiery. He was very, very fiery coming out of halftime with the reporter. And you could tell she wasn't saying that you guys are bad, but I'm going to report on what I see. And I am not here to say favorable or unfavorable things to you. I'm here to give you an analysis or a breakdown of what I saw. A part of your job is to be able to answer questions. You're going to be emotional sometimes because how you feel about your team ain't necessarily how I see your team. And I'm not saying things that are disrespectful to you. You just take it in a disrespectful way. But I do like the fact that he has come back and said, I'm very, very disappointed in how I handle myself during the interview because he knows that negative publicity, as you know now, Smitty, negative publicity will make you a villain really, really quick. Really, really fast. But Ben Johnson, he's doing his best to try to do damage control. It did happen. It was unfortunate, but he did get the big win. And like I say, Chicago is building momentum, and they're going to need it. With Green Bay, Minnesota, and Detroit, you're going to need all the confidence you're going to get because I think for Ben Johnson, it's how you look against teams in your division, because I think the only way they're going to have a shot for even potentially making a playoff run, if that's even possible, they're going to be on the wild card side.
And then finally, in the 4 o'clock hour, it was the Kansas City Chiefs getting back to 500, 37-20 over the Baltimore Ravens, where they saw a gluttony of injuries on that side of the ball, on the defense side of the ball. Marvin Humphrey, Justin Madubuike out for the season with a neck injury that was announced earlier today. Not to mention Roquan Smith. And then, the MVP, Lamar Jackson, former MVP on the offensive side, hamstring injury. That was, and the game was already out of hand anyway. But week 4 was Patrick Mahomes' 18th career game with 4+ passing touchdowns. That broke a tie for the most by a player in his first 10 career seasons in NFL history.
I'm going to start with the Ravens. Lamar Jackson, 14-20, 147 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. Cooper Rush comes in 9 for 13, 52 yards. Derrick Henry was had 8 rushes, 42 yards. Hill had 3 for 76. Lamar had 6 for 40, 48. Zay Flowers, 7 for 74. Hill had 5 for 41. Andrews had 7 for 30. I don't know what's going on with the Ravens. I really don't. I mean, we expect the Ravens to figure it out because the Ravens always figure it out. I don't know if that's going to happen this year because they're not even looking. Their defense can't stop nobody. As you mentioned, a bunch of injuries on that side of the ball, Roquan Smith, Marlon Humphrey and company, but they wasn't stopping nobody at full strength. They still wasn't stopping anybody, and I see that only getting worse. But Patrick Mahomes had to let people know, hey, man, I'm still here. 25 of 37, 270 yards, 4 touchdowns, no picks. Xavier Worthy had 2 rushes, 37 yards. Pacheco had 7 for 35. Kareem Hunt had 13 for 34. There was no run game and no problem. Xavier Worthy, 5 for 83. That's your over-the-top guy. Travis Kelce, 5 for 48. Brown had a touchdown. Juju Smith-Schuster had a freaking touchdown. Pacheco had a touchdown. Thornton had a touchdown. I think for this Kansas City Chiefs team, they always playing for legacy. Every time they step out there on the field, whether that's Travis Kelce, whether that's Andy Reid, whether that's Patrick Mahomes, they know that people are looking for a reason to write them off. And I don't get that, Smitty. We always talk about we love greatness. No, we don't. We just say that because what we're really saying, I want greatness coming from my team, not another team. I don't want to talk about because when your team is great, you see. I'm just gonna say that when your Panther went 15-1, do you remember how much hate people gave you? People were hating on you. You like, my goodness, why y'all hate on us like that? And for everybody that got mad I can't remember who had the pick in the end zone when they played the Patriots, and they said that somebody was holding Gronk. It was picked off. Game over. Move on. I can't remember who picked it. I don't know. It might have been Luke Kuechly. I can't remember. But I think for Kansas City, this could spur them for the rest of the season because that AFC West is going to be very, very competitive with the Chargers already beating them. They got to play Detroit. Not Detroit. They got to play Denver, and the Raiders are the Raiders. So, I think they'll have their way with them. But congratulations to the Chiefs getting the big win. If you are the Ravens, you should be very, very nervous. You don't know how much that hamstring is going to hurt. A guy like Lamar Jackson who utilized his legs as part of his superpower, Derrick Henry, he ain't fumbling in the 4th week, but he also ain't making an impact either. It's like he wasn't even out there. We will see. It's only 4 games in, but the Ravens have not looked impressive. And even if they're winning effort, they haven't looked impressive all year.
And then finally on Sunday Night Football, the most anticipated return with Micah Parsons coming back to Jerry's World and facing Dak Prescott, his former teammate. With Dallas, it was a tie, Ben, 40-40. Second highest tie in NFL history, trailing the 43-43 stalemate between the Raiders and the Boston Patriots in Week 6 of 1964. With this result, the Cowboys teams with 40 or more points and no turnovers at home, including the playoffs, are 300-0-1 all time in the Super Bowl era.
I don't like ties in the National Football League, especially when college can't even tie.
I don't like it either.
I'm not a fan of it. But isn't it fitting? With all the fanfare, this was about Michael Parsons coming back. I don't know if I've ever seen that many cameras waiting for a non-quarterback ever for a guy Michael Parsons. Michael Parsons had a big sack, right? To make his presence felt. But this was about George Pickens. CeeDee Lamb is out, so George Pickens was going to be – I mean, that catch he had on the – I'm still trying to figure out how you make that catch on the sideline.
Beautiful.
Dak Prescott, 31 of 40, 319 yards, 3 touchdowns. Williams had 20 for 85 in the touchdown. Dak Prescott had 1 for 2 in the touchdown. George Pickens, 8 for 134, two scores. Tolbert had 4 for 61. Ferguson had 7 for 40 in the touchdown. The thing about – and Jordan Love, 31 of 43, 387 yards, almost 400 yards passing. Is that 387? That's 357. I'm sorry. 3 touchdowns. And then you're talking about 22 of 86, 2 touchdowns for Josh Jacobs. This game is why you love football. It was a back and forth. There was no defense, really. I know Michael Parsons made a big sack, but those quarterbacks are doing what they wanted to do, how they wanted to do it. And you thought, I thought that when some of these throws that Dak was making, I was like, dude, this stuff is crazy. We are blessed to be able to have the game of football, be able to watch two-story franchise like Green Bay and like Dallas. Because the last time Green Bay was at Jerry's World, they had their way. They're
still undefeated. They have not lost at Jerry's World. This is a tie. They're still undefeated.
I think what's crazy is after the 4th game of the year, you're looking at these records. The Cowboys are 1-2-1, and the Packers are 2-1-1. I don't know. Would it come down to a tiebreaker when it comes to these two? Do we get to do it? But it was a really, really good game. Michael Parsons after the game with Diggs and Dak Prescott just showing so much class, so much professionalism. He understood that all eyes was going to be on him. He kept it real professional. He didn't make it about himself. He didn't come back in trying to say a whole bunch of negative things about Jerry Jones. He realized that this is a marriage that wasn't going to work. Jerry Jones seems to be a guy that rolls to the beat of his own drum. And Michael Parsons is one of those talents that we're going to look back. If the Green Bay Packers go on to the NFC Championship and be the representation of the NFC rep in the Super Bowl, you're going to look back on it and wonder what could have been. But it was an incredible game. George Pickens made him some money. I know he got the rest of the season to continue. But when George Pickens, one of the best defense, when he's playing football and it's not about the antics, he's really, 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 really good. So, but it was a great game. I don't like ties. So competition committee, when y'all come together in the summer of 2026, let's do better. And we can change up kickoffs. If you can't hit a quarterback high, can't hit a quarterback low, we don't even know what roughing the passer is. We don't even know what unsportsmanlike conduct is. Sometimes it's just hitting a dude too hard. You hit him too hard. Unsportsmanlike conduct for being a football player. Let's come up with a way to not have overtime, okay? And Donovan McNabb, I know you've come a long way since then. Yes, you can tie. Because I remember when y'all tied way back when, and you got in the press conference and said, I didn't even know we could tie. You said it out loud. You the starting quarterback and didn't know you could. Wow. So, but I think we've come a long way since then.
And let's go ahead and end the podcast here with our last segment, Week 5 preview, like we always do, getting together for Week 5, the second quarter, if you will, of the NFL season. On that Monday Night Football, another update for those who who care. Broncos up 21-3 at halftime over the Bengals. Might be a rout there in Denver. And then Dolphins 24-13 over the Jets midway through the fourth quarter. So it looks like the Dolphins are going to be on their way to going off the schneid to be 1-3. And then the Jets looks like they're staring at 0-4. So Ben, really quick before we do Week 5, who's going to be undefeated? I'll have 2 questions. Who's going to be undefeated longer, the Eagles or the Bills? Who's going to be the last one standing?
I would say the Eagles. And the reason why I say this, I don't think the Eagles care about how they win. They just want to win. The Bills, it's like the Bills, they get bored. They'll say, we're gonna win this division, running away with it. We don't really have to, obviously we're gonna be trying to have the best record in the AFC so we can get a first round bye. So I would say the Eagles, because I think the Eagles, they're trying to get enough wins to where that when they're not gonna go undefeated, but they'll say, look, we want to try to put some distance between us and the rest of the NFC. That way, when we start, if we have to deal with the injury bug, which every team is going to have to deal with, let's put some distance between us and maybe the Bucks or maybe the Lions or because we don't want no nonsense come weeks 14, 15, 16, and 17, really 18, because you got a bye week. Look, teams are going to be scratching the corner saying, watch how many of those practice squad players get activated. Not because they've already won their division, because, man, we trying to be able to win these games to then make it to the playoffs. So for that reason, I would go the Eagles.
And then who will be the last team through the season to get a win? Looks like the Jets are going to be 0-4, most likely, unless Dolphins blow this lead. So it'll be the Jets 0-4, Saints 0-4, Titans 0-4.
I would say it's going to be the Titans, because at least with the Saints, Spencer Rattler has been around a little while. He ain't been around long. He understands they're going to find a way to get a win. He's like, look, we're not going to go on 16. If you are the Titans, who are they going to beat? Like, they can't beat the Texans, which are bad. They're not going to beat Jacksonville. They're not going to beat the Colts. I got to look at the rest of their schedule. Who are they going to beat?
I'll pull it up for you real quick. All right. And I apologize for those on the division who do not care about the Titans whatsoever. We're going to do this. Ben's former team is the Titans. He drafted him, ladies and gentlemen. So he's got a soft spot in his heart for the Tennessee Titans. Cardinals next week.
Nope.
Raiders.
I mean, maybe.
I'll keep going. Patriots.
Nope.
Colts.
No.
Chargers.
No.
Texans. Seahawks.
Well, okay, let me say this about the Texans. It's usually a back and forth with them.
Yeah.
What I saw the first time they played them.
Right. Yeah. Seahawks. Jaguars. Oh, here, December 7th, Browns.
Okay. That's going to be the brawl for it all.
And then 49ers.
Guess what? I hope by that time, wouldn't it be beautiful if Shedeur Sanders was a starting quarterback to go up against Cam Moore? That would be must-see TV, I guarantee you.
And then 49ers, Chiefs, Saints, and Jags. So they do play the Saints.
You know what? The Saints and the Browns, they got a shot. They got an outside shot.
Yeah, and no one likes to go winless at the end of the day. And it's hard to do that, too, in the NFL.
And nothing's going to scream to the Saints, we stink more than losing to the Titans.
All right, here we go. Top 5 games to watch in week number 5. And, yes, I will also include a toilet bowl because that's what we've done here on Winning the Division. Or as some people like to call it, if you're watching with a lot of TVs, the corner TV game. That might be the nicer way to say it instead of toilet bowl. But I still call it the toilet bowl. Week 5 starts out on Thursday Night Football with an NFC West matchup. 49ers at the LA Rams. Sunday Night Football is the Patriots at the Bills. Monday Night Football is the Chiefs at the Jaguars. Those are your primetime games in week number 5. Okay, my top 5 games to watch in week number 5 on this list. Number 5, give me the Bucs Seahawks. This is going to be a great game at 4:05 out there in the Pacific Northwest. Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold, former teammates in Carolina, going up against each other there in Seattle. Number 5 on this list, Buccaneers, Seahawks. My number 4 game on this list, give me the Chiefs Jaguars. Monday Night Football, Jaguars, Chiefs. They're in Duval. Can the Trevor Lawrence-led Jaguars get to 4-1? Chiefs trying to get over 500 after starting the season at 0-2. Number 3 on this list, I know their record's only going to be 2-2 after tonight. Broncos Eagles. They're in Philadelphia. Sean Payton always has his guys prepared. It's going to be a long trip for Broncos, obviously early start time, but this defense is good, and the Eagles didn't show a lot in Tampa in the second half. Broncos are going to be coming prepared. That's number 3 on this list. Number 2, for whatever reason, I just like I can't quit the Ravens, Texans, Ravens. I CJ Stroud, maybe he got his mojo back. We'll see. If Lamar Jackson's out, I'm going to look like an idiot here. But give me Texans, Ravens for now as my number 2 slot because the Lamar Jackson is not out. Screw it. If he is out, my number 2, just for people's understanding, would be Commanders, Chargers. That would be my number 2 if Lamar Jackson is out. But for now, I'll go Texans-Ravens. My number one is 49ers-Rams. We'll see it Thursday night. Number one game of the week, 49ers-Rams, Seahawks, NFC West, division rivals going at it for the lead in the division. One of these teams will be 4-1 at the end of the night. I think it's going to be the Rams. 49ers have a lot of injuries, and it is in SoFi Stadium. And then my tour of the bowl is the Giants-Saints. I mean, good Lord. Without Malik Neighbors especially, down in the Bayou, give me the Giants to win 2 in a row and drop the Saints to 0-5.
I mean, I like that list. My number, I'm gonna go from 5 to 1 too. My number 5, Dolphins Panthers. It was gonna be Dolphins Panthers, even if Tyreek Hill was playing, but I think it's gonna be intriguing. I want former teammates looking across from each other. What's up, Bryce? Oh, what's up, Tua? What's up, baby? Hey, man, just trying to keep this thing in the middle of the road. Hey, Tua, yeah. Worry less about what Cam Newton's saying and worry more about the new number 1, Bryce. All right, I'm here. We got it. My number 4, Bucks, Seahawks, as you mentioned. Former teammates again. We got former teammates again. This time in the league, though. I mean, Bryce and Tua was former teammates at Alabama. Give me Bucks and Seahawks. I think 2 teams that's going to have a lot to say as far as, like, their divisions as a whole. Sam Darnold, I mean, the Pacific Northwest 12th, man, it's a different world out there. That's a long flight. From Tampa to freaking, that's a long flight. We'll see.
Yes.
My number 3, like you mentioned, Texans and Ravens. I don't know what's up with the Ravens. And I really don't know what's up with the Texans either because I don't really look at it. It's a win, but it was a Titan, so I don't know who they really are. But I want to see, can the Ravens get back to who they are, running the football, Lamar Jackson and company, we'll see. Number 2, as you mentioned, Monday night, Chiefs-Jags. This Jags team's for real. I mean, look up, they're 3-1. Travis Hunter, I mean, he hasn't really, he
hasn't done a lot.
Yeah, he hasn't done a whole lot on offense, even though, I mean, he's showing that he's a big-time football player. They're going to have to find a way to get the ball more. And my number 1, as you mentioned, Division 4, 49ers-Rams. Look, Brock Purdy's probably going to be out. Probably going to be Mac Jones, versus Matthew Stafford.
You think so?
Yeah, because I think Brock Purdy's still dealing with a toe situation. They was talking about it after the game, so you're going to have to deal with that. So it's probably going to be Mac Jones versus versus Matthew Stafford. We'll see what happens with that. But I got 2 toilet bowl games. One, Titans-Cardinals. I mean, it's just, it's going to be a lot. Look, it's going to be a lot of running around from Kyler Murray and Marvin Harrison. The jury is still out on him too. I mean, he's a good player. We want to see if he wants to be a great player. And Cam Ward, may God help you, because I don't know what that offense is doing. We'll see. And as you mentioned, the other one, Giants Saints. My goodness, how the mighty have fallen. I mean, Spencer Rattler was like, I'm in the NFL to have to deal with this. I went from Dennis Allen to freaking Kellen Moore. What is going on? I mean, it's going to be in a dome, so, you're going to have to have, you're going to have good weather conditions, but that's going to be hard to watch. Spencer Rattler is going to be running for his life. Kayvon Thibodeau, Dexter Lawrence, Brian Burns, maybe Abdul Carter, he is going to be running, and Alvin Kamara, they're going to have to unleash him. Chris Olave, we'll see what happens there, but yeah, 49ers, Rams, Chiefs, Jags, Texans, Ravens, Bucks, Seahawks, Dolphins, Panthers, and my toilet bowl games, Titan Cardinals, Giants, and the Aints from New Orleans.
The Aints are back, baby. It's funny, and Ben, we'll close out here. I just want a random question for our listeners who may not be as familiar with, and I'm not going to pretend that either of us are salary cap people and general managers and all of that, but it's amazing how you have different teams who are, there's difference between cash versus cap, yes, but there are certain teams that build a certain way when it comes to the Howie Rosemans of the world and the Eagles being very, very ultra aggressive. You got the Cincinnati Bengals of the world who are strapped with not as much cash, and so they've got to build another way. And then there's teams like the Saints that just keep pushing that credit card in the middle of the pile, and eventually that credit card comes due, which is what these cap charges are. And they're finally sort of ish rebuilding on one side of the ball. But the defensive side for the New Orleans Saints is an example of someone where you got guys like Cam Jordan, Demario Davis, Tyrann Mathieu obviously retired because I don't think he wanted to play this season in New Orleans. You've got so many guys who are older on that side of the ball, and then obviously Alvin Kamara, another year older there in New Orleans. It's like, why do some teams push the limit so far when even though they know there's a better chance than not that they're not going to be good, but yet they still hurt themselves not only for future years, but specifically the year that they're currently on. And then why are some teams? I know it's accounting. I know it's. I know the answer, but like, why do some teams do things so differently? It just the bad teams stay bad, as they like to say, and the good teams, well, are relatively good. I mean, the Ravens. This is their first time in 10 years being 1-3. 10 years. As a Panthers fan, I would take that. I had 10 years between 1-3. Yeah. Good Lord.
I will say this. The good teams are good teams because they bet on themselves in the present, and they saying the present is going to dictate the future. The bad teams, they dread the future because their present is awful, and that's how it is in every level of pro sports. When you talk about the good team, the good teams are always willing to go in because I can't be great before I'm good. I'm not going to skip a step.
Yeah,
certain teams are waiting for lightning in the bottle. They say we're going to draft, we're going to develop. We're going to retain. That's every single team. That's all 32 teams. But the bad teams make bad decisions in public, and the good teams make good decisions in public. When we see certain things going, we go, oh, that's a nice. You see how we can tell, and we can go, what was that? Like what type of? And I think for the Saints, what has set the Saints back is two people: Sean Payton, who's no longer there, and Drew Brees, who's no longer there. Because when those two were joined at the hip, the Saints were good they was in contention every single year. Every single year. Well, quarterbacks that remain for one team 10, 15, 20 years, that means that's that many drafts that I didn't have to worry about a quarterback. You know how I could build my team when I got a quarterback? I.e. Phillip Rivers, Ben Roethlisberger, Eli Manning, Tom Brady, right? Peyton Manning. You go from Brett Favre to Aaron Rodgers. And when you don't have a quarterback, not having a quarterback is like not having a head coach. You cannot build your culture if your quarterback isn't there. I don't care what you got around them. I need a quarterback to build around. So the good teams, they fear the future because they hate the present. And bad teams fear the future because they hate the present. And good teams, they all in because they thinking I'm a player away. I'm a player away from turning this whole thing around. And we've seen it so many times. Like I said, sometimes you got quarterbacks that are good. They just good, but they can't be great because they're in the wrong spot. And the quarterback is the main piece and the centerpiece. They are both. That's the main piece and that's your centerpiece. Because anything outside of that, I mean, it's cool, but this is chess. There it is. Good teams play chess. Bad teams play checkers. We can play checkers. That's your move. With chess, you got to sit there and think about it. All right, man, for every move, there's a counter move. And we got to protect the king. So we got to have pieces on here that can protect the king. So, yeah, it is a head scratcher, Smitty, but it's piece by piece. And as long as you got your quarterback, your head coach, now I can get my team. Then I can get my culture. Then I can get my scheme. Now we winning. Now we winning consistently. Oh, shoot, we're a perennial playoff team every year. Oh, shoot, we're going deeper to the playoffs. Oh, shoot, we're in the NFC, AFC championship game. We're in the Super Bowl. And that's usually, it doesn't have to go that way, but you notice that the good teams are good every year, and when they're not good, it's a head scratcher, like the Ravens. Like, what's wrong with the Ravens? Even we have grown accustomed to the Ravens being good. We're not accustomed to the Chargers beating the Chiefs. We're not accustomed to the Browns beating Green Bay. Yep. You see what I'm saying? So it's that. But in the end, it's going to be like the NCAA tournament. The teams, the talent, the cream going to rise to the top. Is going to be one of these usual suspects, even though I think the Detroit Lions, think about it. Your Panthers have been to 2 Super Bowls. My Falcons have been to 2 Super Bowls. And the Detroit Lions have never been. Ain't that crazy? That's how the NFL goes. When you got the right quarterback, got the right coach, got the right scheme, got the right team. Yeah, the bad teams are bad because they make bad decisions in plain sight, and the good teams are good because they make good decisions in plain sight. Hopefully, your Panthers and my Falcons will start making good decisions because Terry Fontenot, for those who don't know, was the former GM of the New Orleans Saints. He orchestrated Sean Payton and Drew Brees, and look how long he was there. He was there for like 19 years. So what did he try to do when he came over to Atlanta? He tried to get a veteran quarterback in Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins is not Drew Brees. Jesus. Anyway, I digress.
All right, well, as we're recording this here on Monday Night Football, Week 4 almost in the books here. Looks like the Jets are staying frisky. They're up by 6 with Miami up by 6 with 1:49 to go. So Jets trying to make this a game here. But yeah, we'll see what happens in those remaining 2 games. But here on Winning the Division, as we say goodbye to Week 4. We head on to Week 5. Some teams, you are just in your division, but others, you are going to be winning your division here this year in 2025. For Ben Troupe, I'm Ryan Smith. Rate, review, and subscribe wherever you get your podcast. Let us know how we're doing. I would love to hear what you guys want us to talk about. Comment, rate, review, like I said, and subscribe. And we'll see you guys next week for another edition of Winning the Division.